Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Gail Gross with Greetings from Gail. Today we are going to be looking at the card creativity suite of products that Close to My Heart is releasing for National Stamping Month. That starts on September 1st, 2022. Now, Stamping Month is only 1 month long, but Close to My Heart is making these materials available through the end of October 2022 with the discounted bundles that are being offered. Anything that's left over after that time will still be available online, but there will no longer be a discount. And there's no guarantee that anything will be left over by the end of October. Believe me, these have been really popular with my customers that have seen them in person, and I think that they will be with a lot of people. So what I want you to see, these are some of the cards that are in the workshop kit that's been put together. And if you are interested in doing those cards, you can download the instructions on my website. I'm going to put the address for you, scrapandgale.ctmh.com. And when you download those instructions, what you'll get is everything from cutting diagrams to diagrams for doing the thin cuts, as well as the card instructions themselves, step by step, to walk you through all 6 of these cards. But there's so much more that you can do with them. That's why I want to show you everything that's in this suite of products. The first thing that I am really excited about is this double stamp set. It is called Sending Love and Laughter. They're all sentiments. You can see that some are extra long. They'll work perfectly on slimline cards, but if you're doing a regular card in landscape mode, they would work for that as well. There are also just some bigger sentiments right here that would work in portrait style cards as well as those slim lines. So there's many things to choose from. This is a double stamp set, and some of those are big and bold, and some of them are just a little bit more neutral in their look. Now, when I show you the cards that I've created, I've used these sentiments on the inside of the cards and decorated them with elements from the stamp sets for each of the separate stamp sets that are available. So this is called, as I said, Sending Love and Laughter. Then the first set that I want to talk about is called Floating By. Do you have a sense as to why it's called Floating By? Well, we've got these fun balloons taking these little critters on a journey. The first one is the little bunny and has a couple of balloons with the background, which I'm going to be showing you, the background die. And then here is the little fox, and I've created a scene for him with his balloon and using that background die as well, and paper tearing, which is back in vogue again, which is really fun to see. Now, this is the background die. It is the cloud background. Let me zoom back out again so you can see the whole thing, okay? And when you cut this die, it has stitched elements on it. Let me see. I'm going to have to zoom in order to get the lighting correct so that you can see the stitched edges of each of the clouds as well as the whole edge of the card front, because this is a full card front die, okay? And if you want to make this so that it has some dimension, you can see that on my cards, it looks like there's space between the card front, the die cut front, and the card base, and there is, and that is because I glued 2 of them together. It's really simple to just put the glue on the back of one and stick them together, and that gives you dimension without having to cut lots of little tiny pieces of foam squares or foam tape to go into all of those spaces around. So by gluing 2 pieces of your background piece together, you get that dimension, which is really great. Now, let's take a look at the stamp set. I say that this set is more whimsical than the others, okay? So you have got We've seen the fox and we've seen the bunny on the 2 cards that I did. So there's also this cute little mouse who's got his hands over his head to hold onto his balloon, the bird who keeps the balloon in her beak, and then a hedgehog. In addition, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sentiments, and you can see that they don't all have to be birthday. Just wishing you a happy day can work for any time, okay? And floating by to say hi. So they don't have to all be birthday greetings on this. There are coordinating dies. You can get the stamps by themselves, or you can purchase it bundled with the coordinating dies, which makes it easier, particularly on some of these fine little details like the bird's string for her balloon. It's very, very helpful to have that. So the last thing that is available with this is a stencil. Now let me tell you a little bit. I mentioned buying things separately. So you can purchase just the background die. You can purchase just the stamp set. You can purchase the stamp set with the die. And if you purchase the background die and the stamp set with the dies, you will get, you can purchase the bundle, which also gives you a background stencil. Now here, I'm going to show you. This is what this stencil looks like. And it just lays down here on top of the paper, and then you can ink it. Let me show you just how quick and easy that is done. Let me pull in my mat here, and I'm just going to flip this over to the other side. And you can turn it either way. You can see that on this side, I had done it with the clouds in this orientation. I'm going to zoom in again here for you. But you can also just flip it over and have the clouds in a different orientation. So I'm just going to put a little bit of my masking tape on the 2 corners here. This corner up here, and then the opposite corner at the bottom. I'll just slide this up for you to see that. That should hold it in place. Then I'm just going to use one of our new blending brushes, which are wonderful to use with our regular inks. And I'm going to take the Glacier and just go in and quickly do some inking on these. And it's still staying in place. And I can get some where you'll notice that some of these have a little bit more ink on them than others, and that's okay because it'll just make a bit of a difference in what your background looks like, and that's always kind of fun. So as I pull this off, you can see that that's my background image using the stencil. Now remember that we had the background die. Well, when I cut my backgrounds, I ended up with a lot of extra clouds. And so those clouds could easily just go on here and be added to that background if you want to. And you'll notice that when I did the die cut background on this card, I took some of those and I placed them next to clouds that weren't the same size. So here's a small cloud next to the balloons, a big cloud next to a couple of the small clouds. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused as to what I'm looking at. But anyway, that just works and is very, very versatile. So you can get this bundle. The only way to get the stencil though is to get the bundle of the products, which is at regular retail price. Okay? I'm going to take away these and be right back. Before I take them away, I realized I wanted to show you how easy it is to clean the stencil. So you can see that there's some ink still left on the stencil. I'm just taking a baby wipe over it on top of a piece of scrap paper, and I am leaving behind ink here and on my baby wipe, but it's cleaning off the stencil just very nicely, and it's quick and easy. The next stamp set is called Dragonfly Wishes, and I would say that this is a more traditional stamp set with flowers and dragonflies and sentiments that go along with it. These were the cards that I had created for my open house. This one is actually one of them that is from the kit, the workshop that Close to My Heart designed. And what you can see is the detail of the background die for this one, which I'm going to be showing you in just a moment. I'm also going to be showing you some special things with that dragonfly for coloring him, and just the use of the die cut for the floral image on the set. The other main image is the cattails. And I have fond memories of cattails as a child, and so this was just really fun to play with. I did second generation stamping on this one to give it the look like there's more in the background than what you've got here. And it just really turned out very, very well with that. I also played with another technique, and that is thanks to the inspiration of Leslie Peters, who is another Close to My Heart maker. She had shown doing a silhouette, inking the background here, and then stamping that cattail image over the top of it. These are just simply using our standard inks. I used Periwinkle, one of our new colors, Wisteria, Flamingo, Sundance, and Nectarine. And this is simply a piece of cardstock cut with an oval die. And I laid it over it and did the inking. And it worked great. If I'm not doing too many of them, there's no problem. The sentiment, I simply fussy cut it because I thought it gave it, took up less space than having a thicker band across, but it still gave it the ability to pop up and stand out on this. Then I went ahead and did the same thing with the floral set, this time taking another piece of cardstock and just cutting out that circle for it. And this time using one of the sentiments and the die cut that goes with it that's in the set. So let's take a look at that stamp set right now. Here it is. It is called Dragonfly Wishes. So you've got your big two main images, the floral and the cattail. You have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sentiments here. And you've got the 3 sizes of dragonflies. Here are the dies that coordinate with it. So the cattails and the flowers have dies to cut them out. The thank you has this square to cut it out, and of course all 3 of the dragonflies. And I realized as I was talking about the sentiments here that I forgot to show you the sentiments I used on the inside of the card, which I had mentioned. So this is from that double set that I showed you at the beginning. And here it is. You're on my mind and in my heart. And there's the dragonfly with it. And let's take a peek back at the bunny, because he was floating by to say hi, to let the person know that you make the world a better place. And here I did a little bit of light inking, and then I put 2 of those cut out clouds from the background die inside there, and that completed that card. So I wanted you to be sure to see the versatility of that big stamp set there. Now there's something special about these dragonflies, because again, if you purchase the grouping of things, and I did not show you this background die, so I pointed out to you the details of it, and you can see that here. Again, I'm going to go in a little closer. Just the stitched effect there on the background. This is going to be so versatile. So this is the entire die, which you could purchase just on its own. That's all you have to buy if that's all that you want. Then you can get just the stamp set alone, or you can put the stamp set with the dies there as well. And finally, if you buy the background die and the stamp set and the dies with it, you will be able to get the stencils. And the stencils in this case work to cover the dragonfly and color him with inks. Okay, now you get 3. There's 3 different sizes of the dragonflies. I'm going to see if this will show up here, if you can see what those stencils look like. Okay, I like to label them because this is the front, so that if I'm putting it down, it will match up with my stamped image. And then I have the medium, the small, and the large. I'm going to work with the large one right now. Okay, so here is my Dragonfly. And I am just going to match that up right over the top, and it's very easy to see right through. I am going to take another piece of that masking tape. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer, get this up so that you can see a little bit better what it is that I am doing here. And now, remember, I used the Glacier ink for the cloud background. I'm going to use that same the same brush, because I'm still going to use a blue. And I usually just keep these as color family. Since I'm going from light to darker, that's not a problem. I am going to start, however, with my green, because I want my green to be a little bit more subtle. So this is green apple, and I'm just going to come down here and start off on the stencil part of it and get that ink going. I'm getting lots on the stencil, not much on the Dragonfly. There we go. We're getting it there. Okay, so you can see how the Dragonfly is getting colored in. If I lift this up, you can see the color on him. Then I'm going to come back and take my Lagoon and take my blue brush and come in from the top and color the same way. And I can overlap those colors, okay? And now I take off my cover, and there's my Dragonfly, all colored in very, very quickly. And I'm going to do the same thing with this stencil that I did with the previous one, and that is to put it on the piece of paper and take my wet one and just come over it. And you can see that I'm getting ink onto the paper, but now the ink is gone off of the stencil. So that's how quick and easy they are to take care of. So that one is fun. And then you can put the die cut over this and cut it out. I think it's easier to do the inking with the stencils while it's still on a larger piece of paper. So lots of options with this stamp set of different fun things to play with, and have lots of opportunities to send greetings to many, many different people. I'll move this out of the way and come in with the last set. The last set that is in this bundle, the suite of products, is called Hello Fabulous. And this, I say, is the bold set. And honestly, it's not something that in the past I would have said, that's my thing, but I absolutely love it. In fact, one of my customers at the open house said, I never would have thought of using black flowers, but look at just the effect that that makes on this and the way that it stands out against that inked background. I'm going to talk about those inked backgrounds in just a minute, but I'm also going to show you that this one is inked, and then I took, from inspiration from fellow maker Brenda Rose, I took just cardstock. Okay, so this is just a piece of our Sundance cardstock, and I turned it into a shaker. Do you see that? Do you see all of those little pieces inside of there? So it can shake around and be a really fun element to whoever gets this. That fabulous person has just received a fabulous card. So that is really fun. And again, the black standing out here on this Sundance background is great. Now, again, I've got a sentiment on the inside here, and that is using the to someone who's absolutely, positively, completely indispensable to me. And you'll notice I used this stamp set right there, this stamped image, on the inside in green instead of the black, and it just makes that black pop again here on the inside. So let's take a look at the background die first. You can see that this is forming circles here in the background, but it's really a geometric shape, and again, it's all stitched. Okay, so I'm going to turn it sideways because I think you'll see the whole thing better that way. This is what just the piece by itself looks like, and so when there's nothing on top of it, you can really see the circles a little bit better, as well as the geometric shapes. Now this one was inked with Close to My Heart inks. I used Capri and Lagoon and Flamingo. This is done with Distress Oxides. So if you look at the information that's available for this workshop and you think, I don't really want to go in and get all the Distress Oxides, you can do it with the regular inks. You don't have to go with the Distress Oxides. But here it is done with the Distress Oxides, and the colors are just a little bit more vibrant. But you could actually layer this. You could choose different colors. You can put more ink on it, and maybe I used a blending brush on these. If I would have used a foam, I might have gotten more ink down on there. So play around with it and see. I'm going to talk about this background image here because that's the stencil, and that's been the last thing we talk about. But I will get to that for sure. So let's take a look at the stamps for this one. Here they are, big, and did I say bold before? Yes, I truly meant that they are bold with the big sentiments. You're the best. Hey there. Congrats. Hi. Hello, fabulous. Those florals, which really can work in any color you want. I've seen them done in lighter colors, and in dark you could do like a sapphire blue as well as the black. Then take a look. There are dies for almost every single image on this set, which is great. And the thing I really like is, as you saw on this one, that the sentiment is cut out as if I had fussy cut it, but I didn't have to fussy cut because there was a die for it. So everything has a die so that you can create that, and that makes it work really, really well. So again, you can buy just the stamp. You can buy just the stamp with the dies. You can buy just the background die. But if you buy them all together, they are going to toss in this stencil, which creates this background look behind those geometric shapes. And so what it is that it is just, let me see if I can find that color piece of cardstock again. It is just these little teardrop shapes, basically, is what they are, heading in one direction. But you'll say there's two directions here. Well, yeah, all you have to do is flip it over and they go the other direction. So I have already gone this direction with this one, with the Mowed Lawn Green. This is the piece that I'm working with right now. Okay, so you can see that it has Mowed Lawn Green, and this side over here is Mermaid Lagoon, I think is what it's called. Anyway, you can see that that's going to go inside of those pieces, but I need to finish this off. So let's take that stencil and flip it over. I'm going to move these other cards out of the way and just keep the ones that I'm working with right now. I'm going to line this up. And because this is going to go back behind this overlay piece, you can move it around and nobody will ever know whether it's straight or not. But I do need this to get lined up so that those pieces are going to work when I put it with the background die. So I've got a little tiny bit of washi tape here on my piece in the on the back of this piece from doing it with the green to start with. I'm looking at this and I'm just going to go ahead and lay this over it and see, am I lined up well? And I think it's going to work. So now I'm going to bring my mat back in because I don't want to get ink onto the onto my surface of my table. Now this is the Mermaid Lagoon Distress Oxide inks, and I'm using a different tool. I'm using a domed foam applicator for this, and it will work just great. Okay, so I'm just going to come in here again and do the same thing and just add that ink to that. Come in a little bit closer for you. And you notice it's not touching the green because the green is covered up because the holes are there's only 2 of them. Had they put all 4 holes on there, you would have had to mask what you didn't want to use. And it's just so easy to do it twice if you wanted to do them both in the same color. So I am just working that ink into the opening of the stencil. Okay. And I think I've got it all the way I want it to be. Now, normally I would say use a Kleenex to hold on to that while you're working with it. I didn't grab one before I started here, but there we go. There's my background. I'm going to move this out of the way and clean off the surface. And again, clean off my stencil. Now this is Distress Oxides. It is a different consistency than the Close to My Heart inks, but you can see that it cleans up just as easily. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to set that aside and come back with this now. So here's that stencil that I used, and I can line this up so that I've got my background image showing in those open spots in the background die. And I would just then apply my glue or my adhesive back there and put it down, and it will look just like this one. Okay, so once again, this stencil will only come if you buy the bundle of the Hello Fabulous. So, well, thanks for watching. I'm going to come back with all of these cards in just a moment. So we're going to go in the reverse order. Here's that Hello Fabulous set again, with the big bold sentiments, the big bold elements on the card front, and the bright designed background die with that geometric shape. We had also done the more traditional one, the Dragonfly Wishes, and here are the two floral design cards that use that background die back there, and then the two that used the cattail design card as well. And again, every element on these is from that particular stamp set. And finally, we had our whimsical set with the cloud background, and we've got the little characters. We've got a bunny and we've got a fox, and you could do the bird, you could do the hedgehog, or the little mouse. So lots of options. And of course, each of those items, as we've said, can be purchased separately. And again, if you really like sentiments, then this is definitely a set that is worth your while. This double set with sentiments that are not only for birthdays, they're just friendship, grateful for a friend like you, sending you love and laughter and plenty of happily ever after. And here's some more. You are all kinds of amazing. So all kinds of versatile sentiments. And the information for finding out all the pricing of these is on my website. I've shared that information with you on the screen, and it's also down in the comment and the information section. So please take a look at that and check out the complete workshop if you're interested in doing that. This is called Card Creativity for National Stamping Month 2022, and it will be available till the end of October 2022. I hope you enjoy it.